Hello, he discovered that he had actually become. A white-haired elf appeared, looking at the sky soaring straight ahead. He quickly got the big tree. I understand the current situation. World Tree Eve Euchert. Rahil. She is hailed as the mother of nature, God. Although the branches and leaves are now withered and fallen, Eve could still feel, deep within oneself lies, some kind of powerful and ancient strength. Eve looked at a spot not far away, a dead oak tree. In my heart, with a slight movement, the dead tree instantly came back to life. It shines with the brilliance of life. Eve began to sprout and prune leaves, finding myself seemingly with the other person. It produced something strange, connect, but similarly. She found herself, the hidden power within the body. The quantity began to be consumed rapidly, which was frightening. She immediately stopped talking to the withered tree. The tree's revival. It has been integrated with the world tree kernel. Eve knew that power. It is life energy. Once used, light, the world tree will be completely plunged into sleeping. That also means Eve. Death, sensing what remains. 2/3 of the nature gods. Force, Eve felt a slight pang of regret. But she didn't. I thought it was just a trial. In an instant, through enlightenment, such a thing was produced. Large consumption. The withered tree from before was already gone. It has completely changed. Not only, it became lush and verdant again, and it's significantly taller than before, nearly 3 times. Eve guessed that this new tree, the revitalized oak tree, it must be at least 30 meters high. At the same time, the big tree actually, struggling to pull from the mud, it has emerged from the root system. The tree roots turned into feet, and the branches, it then transformed into an arm, in the blink of an eye. The other party actually, it turned into a majestic tree. Rin's tree man. Tree people have gone to the world of tree petals. Zagaidi, a place of powerful and vigorous spirit. The voice was filled with excitement, and sincerity is rewarded by the Mother Goddess. Oak Guardian thanks you. Bless me. Mother Goddess. Name, looking at the tiny hands in front of me. The Great Oak Guardian. Eve, a twitch appeared on my lips. At the same time, she felt, it seems like I've developed feelings for the other person. A certain connection. It seems, can be directly, to convey instructions. A hint of mischief arose. The thought crossed Eve's mind. Movement, and the heart guarded by the oak. A divine voice suddenly rang out from the middle. Holy and majestic, yet ethereal and aloof. The sound, in that case, you shall be called Bar Saka. Bar, as soon as he finished speaking. The oak guard, the enormous body then slightly. She trembled slightly, and her deep, it conveyed a profound meaning. Basaka, praise the Mother Goddess. Eve felt the pure warmth of the oak. The sound came from the tree guard. And original natural divine power not combined. Eve was surprised to find herself originally consumed 1/3. The natural divine power of one was actually, it has recovered somewhat, combined with information in consciousness. After thinking for a moment, Ye Fu quickly got the answer. The power of faith. The continent of Segis is a place where, in the magical world of gods, true, God controls the world. Thinking of this, Eve checked again, looking at the records of the inheritance. And, sure enough, they found the match. Relevant information. The continent of Segis truly exists. God, and obtain according to the true God. The sources of power can be divided into 2 factions, the new gods and the ancient gods. The divine faction. The new gods are also known as the faith. Those who worship deities are often later. The gods of heaven. They mainly rely on faith provided by believers, the power to transform divine power. Strong, transform into a divine office, and at the same time through construction, to build a divine kingdom to perfect oneself. A world of faith. The ancient gods are also known as the gods. The chemical biological school belongs to the innate category. The true God. Their power comes from laws bestowed by heaven and earth. Then, or it inherently possesses, from the void energy or through other ways to obtain God. The ability to exert force. The old gods do not require faith. But you can also grow stronger through faith, oneself, while world arts belong to this. But at this moment, the world's magic, in a frozen state, already lost, go to obtain from the void. However, the power of the gods, and the increase that Fu could think of, divine power is also temporarily. Only faith remains. Eve looked at what she had created, the scroll tree man. The more I look at it, the more I feel. Baby, at the same time, the tree first, the data frame looks like a game panel. It popped out just like that. Eve was, my heart widened in surprise. The mouth, that is the power of the true God. Quantity, Shu and Ji fell out of her own. Panel, 10 points of divine power. True, it's too tragic. We must be strong. He's grown too big. His divine power is too low. That's enough, putting aside everything else. Even if it's in order to gain freedom of movement. Eve also urgently needs the ability. The earth wants to increase its divine power. World spells in the state of frozen death. Completely, it's just a wooden stake. Besides its purpose, besides being conscious, and in a vegetative state. There's practically no difference. It's just the most tragic true God.
必须早点攒够神力值，从濒死状态中恢复过来，同时塑造神将化身。一旦有了化身，衣服就可以在一定范围内自由行动。不过，若是想要使用能力中的神将化身，
Eve checked and found they actually require a score of 100. Only by accumulating divine power can one support. We're so poor. Only 3 believers. One of them was newly built. Is there any true God in the world who is more than? Is he miserable? Where are the other believers? Suddenly, a thought arose in Eve's mind. She felt a sliver of interest and thought to herself, the god of entering the world with a single move, the core of the grid. Eve is still empty. 3 green clusters were discovered intermittently. Colored photons, like flashes, the starlight. That was her and contact information for 3 believers. Road. Besides these, Eve has. Some were surprised to find themselves wearing. The one I met before was quite. The close blue light also. It exists. After hesitating for a moment, Eve cautiously, Yidai probed his consciousness into that blue ball of light. With Eve's touch, 1, shares consist of numbers and symbols. The massive amount of information was instantly. It came like a deluge. A void, virtual reality technology, is pioneering new technologies. The technological revolution. Professional gamers stay up all night. 1 week later, he suddenly died in the game pod. Eve died, held on for a few seconds. They immediately cut off the communication. Input. She stared blankly, looking at the blue light in front of him. A raging storm surged within him. Giant waves. This blue light cluster connects to. It was actually from Earth in my previous life, the online world. Eve suspected it was because of herself. In the context of consciousness and networks, she died while Lion was alive, which caused her death and created a certain seeds are treasures. Eve sighed inwardly. She's angry. She's now Sedger's low-dimensional world number. Even if it is possible to reach the blue star, the network establishes connections. And what's the use? Perhaps after I become stronger, there is still a chance to return to one's past life. Blue star. Eve had this thought. I glanced at my pitiful self. First, stabilize your status bar. Status bar, a true god who died of ice, is probably a walking gold mine. Eve cruelly turned the blue light. Leave in front of the group. Then come back again. 3 green photons arrived. Before, excluding Barsaka, for a moment, she looked at the remaining 2 photons at the same time. That gentleness, and then the sacred prayers again. The next one came. Eve finally found the voice. The source is precisely 2 light. The brightest one in the picture. She gently touched the spot of light. And the next, in an instant, Eve found herself in a magnificent temple. In the center of the temple is an ancient altar. Before the altar stood a man, 1 woman and 2 elves. The male elf was very old. The body was filled with the fragrance of sage and gray. Eve's attention quickly. Instead of focusing on her, they concentrated on the woman in front, on the spirit. The prayer Eve heard, the sound originated from what she saw. The fleeting moment of the elven girl. Information about her suddenly appeared. It appeared in Eve's mind. Seeing one's only devotion. The disciple was actually so pure, a beautiful elf girl. Eve's original heart was lost. Half of it dissipated instantly. As for the other one, he is the only one. They are now devout followers. The information shows that the elderly man, the male elf, is called Sami. You, Gale, as expected. It's their own team now. Eve thought for a moment and decided to first a response using a bit of divine power. The other party, however, was an elf girl, but the prayer stopped, and only then did they see. She opened her emerald green eyes. Reach out and wipe away the corner of the eye. A single teardrop of a fairy, supporting, holding high the battle flag amidst the hardships on the ground. Turning around, facing the long-awaited, to his companion to exert a force. Alice's smile was crisp and clear. The voice was somewhat hoarse, sinking. Grandpa Samir's last. Her prayers were over. She had already. I knelt here for 3 days and 3 nights. Night fell, and all hope ultimately vanished. Despair, looking at the girl, that disappointed expression. Named Samir's old elf. He sighed. There was nothing he could do when it comes to matters of law. No matter how firmly we uphold them. Hold on, no matter how much we expect. We must accept this reality. As she spoke, she raised her head and looked towards the ruins above the altar. The idol, beneath the face of the mother goddess, has truly already. It has fallen, having stood firm for 1,000 years. We no longer need to be here. I persevered. By World Tree God Pavilion Space. The middle symbolizes 2 believers. The photons grew dimmer and dimmer. When the mirror went out, Eve panicked instantly. God, hey, you guys in front of yourselves. The face of the true God is ready to be placed. Is abandoning one's faith really a good thing? If we don't take action soon, I'm afraid the only 2 remaining indigenous people. The disciple was about to break with him. The bone ground was defeated. Fu decided to use the divine power, despite the pain, to prove its existence. However, suddenly a thought crossed her mind. The original plan was temporarily suspended. The pressure was released. What a coincidence. Someone was dozing off. Giving pillows as gifts now seems to have an even more efficient and more cost-effective. The deceptive methods, deep within the elf forest, always composed of orc mercenaries. The hunting party was proceeding cautiously. They shuttled back and forth across the land. Since the War of the Gods 1,000 years ago, as the chief god of the elves, Mother Nature perished. World Tree withered, wither and die, and the elves, having lost the protection of the true god, and, as the continent of seeds, the most beautiful and elegant species, the race, the elves have been for thousands of years, completely reduced to slavery. It's in high demand. Alice and the other two left. The Temple of Nature remained silent the entire way. This was their last time coming to offer sacrifices. She hoped to awaken her mother, God, but each time there is only disappointment. Even as a nature god, she, who taught the saintess, could not, they do not acknowledge it. The elf god is fearful. It seems they have truly perished completely. Thinking of those who regard their clansmen as, for cargo, relentless hunting, and you bastards who humiliated me. Ellie, Silk almost gritted her teeth, not knowing, 100 years from now, will we still have several clansmen? Suddenly, Samir's expression changed slightly. Change, 2 pointy ears. It moved slightly and reached out to fold. Bend a twig and place it on your nose. Giant Y twirled slightly. And then, his face changed drastically. Oh no. Half of it, orcs. Before the words were finished, a dozen or so people started arguing. A hideous, enormous body. They emerged from their ambush position. The two were completely surrounded. No way. A dozen or so orcs, greedily watching the elf. The woman's sidelong gaze was piercing. Alice's body trembled. Samir's old priest's expression, with a heavy expression. She bit down. Tooth, he roared. I held them off. Only, he heard the giant bear let out a cry of pain. A bitter wail. A mouthful of blood. It sprayed out. And then the whole body. The body struck the ground. Then, it transformed into an old elf. Its appearance, the old priest was unconscious at this moment. He lay unconscious in a pool of blood. In the middle, with just one strike. The most powerful, their combat power was thus rendered useless. The orcs let out a cheer. Few, then slowly stepped aside. One, the man is 3 meters tall. Strong and weak. The orc leader left. Come over, and there is a rock. He is rock. She picked up the wolf tooth from the ground. Great. Licked the edge of the field thorn. The dripping blood. The eyes filled with its fine blood. Alice can't, looking at each other thoughtfully. He spoke. The sound was slightly trembling. How could this be? Perhaps the old priest had 30. Its strength is already at the black iron level. This is the pinnacle of a lieutenant's career. The leader is definitely in the black iron. Lieutenant, for a moment, a surge of emotions welled up in his heart, overwhelmed by boundless despair. He returned. He glanced at the withered, the world tree, its eyes filled with sorrow. Kai, Mother Goddess, is this you? Is this punishment for us? Mother Goddess, your mother tree. It was already known to the gods 1,000 years ago. It burned, and the rock licked it. His lips, from head to toe, were smacked. I measured Alice's face. It was an undeniable surprise. It's definitely a good product. Not bad at all. Wrong. Those humans would definitely like you. If you're honest, you can eat less. Bitter. The surrounding beastmen also spoke. Their laughter, though seemingly different, was heard. Alice's eyes were full of. He was furious and took a deep breath. Kai drew his staff, preparing to. Their lives were at stake. But before he could, action, the figure of the rock, a slight flash. Then, asterisk snap asterisk. Asterisk thud asterisk. With a sound, his weapon was picked off. Fly. Go deep. With such limited strength, he still calls himself White. Silver Seed, accompanied by the voice of the orcs. The voice was full of sarcasm. Looking at the elf who fell into a daze. Girl, rock gestures to your subordinates. Tie her up. And after saying that, his hands, the beastmen below did not go. The rock trembled, and he was taken aback. What are you doing? Get to work. The companion beastmen still did not move. Instead of moving, they were all terrified, looking at the rock. And at the same time, they retreated. Before they could even, he realized what was happening. A large shadow covered everyone. Rock's heart skipped a beat. Somewhat, he turned around warily. An expression froze instantly. A statue, giant over 30 meters high. The tree man's gaze was icy. Standing there, his thick body, its body blotted out the sky and blocked out the sun. That enormous, the pressure of the shot caused the air to. Everyone was stunned. How could this be? Oak guardians are not already with the fall of the elf gods. Is he dead? The rock murmured something. Then, as if suddenly awakened, with a loud shout, he yelled, "Run!" After saying that, Pan-Shi even brought his own wolf. He didn't even bother to pick up the toothbrush. Turning around, he ran away like a duck. Sada was furious. This group, orcs are hunting, the children of the Mother Goddess. And, at the same time, Mother Goddess, the icy voice also returned. The sound echoed in the mind of Basada. In the sea, annihilate them. As if liberating, the last shackle has been removed. Oak Guardian is completely enraged. His arm instantly transformed into rapidly upgrading branches and vines. The tendrils, like flying ropes, generally, towards the countless fleeing. Orcs chased. Vines moved swiftly, extremely fast speed. More than a dozen half-beasts before the person could escape from the well. He was tied up and listening. Countless mournful sounds came from behind. A blood-curdling scream. The rocky skin. Suddenly, a sense of crisis washed over me. The Rock Alliance surged into my heart. Instinctively, he dodged to the side. All that could be seen was a thick vine. The vine pierced through his just past. The nose that has been used. But not yet. Once he breathed a sigh of relief. This vine, man rushed towards him again. He gritted his teeth and pulled out his waistband. The curved blade pointed at the vines. A fierce chop, accompanied by a clang. Clang and sound. The bend in my hand. The knife cut it in two. While the vines, yet it was completely unharmed. On the rock, in a stunned and shocked gaze, the vine leaped up and grabbed him, bound to death. In shock on the rock, in his horrified gaze, he saw himself, the originally robust body, severe atrophy, life rate soars, Earth was lost. In just a few seconds, he aged, and in the blink of an eye, between them, more than 20 half-beasts, the entire hunting party was wiped out. Love slumped on the ground. Alice was stunned. Then suddenly, seemingly realizing something, the two crystalline tears flowed down. A slow stream of tears flowed down by Zai's cheeks. Alice suddenly raised her head, with 7 parts surprise and with a touch of trepidation. I looked at the world, the direction of the tree. Mother Goddess, yes, your mother, at the same time. No, countless shimmering pale green lights. A beam of light descended from the sky. Incomparably divine, holy and solemn. Its light carrying a gentle glow, the power of harmony, vying to be first. Alice and, within Samir, the elf, the girl inside her, forcibly detonated the explosives. Injuries caused by the source, healed in an instant. While the broken elf Samir, the wretched body also used flesh. Visible speed recovery. He got up, and his consciousness slowly returned. Su, the old priest trembled. He stood up, somewhat, looking at the majestic figure in disbelief. Like a surgeon, upon realizing, after what happened, he sat down on the ground, and suddenly, a magnificent and sacred sound. The sound resonated in their minds. Within consciousness, nameless attachment. Yuck, Trahir, the two bodies. A jolt went through them, both of them staring into each other's eyes. I saw fear and despair in the child. I couldn't believe it, but I quickly turned away. It transformed into boundless joy. It is the Mother Goddess. Truly the Mother Goddess. My lord, Alice feels herself. All the strength in my body seemed to. She was pulled to death. His body swayed, and he couldn't help but pounce. He collapsed to the ground, tears streaming down his face. Samir's face widened slightly. He closed his mouth, revealing deep wrinkles, trembling uncontrollably. And the turbid tears were like pearls, like a child scattered. Once noble, Sami, the elder of the tribe, you, at this moment, are like, he cried like a child. Come, Mother Goddess, please return. Are they here yet? The fire of faith within my heart reignites. The second burst of fire shot into the sky. And the world, nature on the bamboo pole, inside the hole, the saintess of nature, Alice, Silk, and the old priest Samir, kneeling somewhat nervously, sitting before the statue. At this moment, Alice was carved. Her body seemed to be. Something inexplicable happened. The changes were permeated with a sense of holiness and sacredness. Am I overlooking something? Is this too leisurely? In the divine space, looking at himself, number of believers in the data box. As soon as the amount came, Eve was in consciousness. Lai swallowed hard. Fu's actions were powerful. It far exceeded her own. Imagine, he was a devout believer before. Saint Alice, in this, after the storm, not only did they regain, it transcended faith, and even surpassed other things. The level of fanaticism becomes. The saints were saved. The old priest of fate also became. Fanatics. No wonder even God. Make the believers suffer. Eat some. If it's bitter, give me a red date. That will have the same effect. If it doesn't need to be stronger. Eve sighed for a moment. And then, I checked my divine power. It was worth it. She originally only had 10 left. I've spent some divine power points. And in order to, healing 2 elves is even more. It consumed a little more. But in 2, when people regain their faith, they provided her with a full 6 points of divine power were used to kill more than 20 orcs. Elephant Guardian Barsaka. Surprisingly, however, it provided her with 5 points, divine power value. Eve's heart was filled with antiquity. Strange. In other words, besides growing stronger, besides faith, I can also, by eliminating the elves' enemies, rebuilding the glory of the elf race. Huang gained the approval of the dead. This allows them to quickly recover their strength. Eve came to this conclusion. She discussed it, but soon she felt this is a double-edged sword. In reality, these hunting pairs have a large number. Limits, even if they are all, even if the net is completely wiped out. I'm afraid I'll recover. It doesn't have much vitality left. If there really is enough time to gather the tribesmen. Her letter, Yang has almost fully recovered, so this doesn't count as take the shortcut. If you win all 10, the 7 world technique has no need to worry. The issue of population size directly consumes. Divine power gave birth to primordial spirits. That's it. The primordial spirits were born, which is relevant to the present. For Eve, the consumption, the divine power was too great. Even enlightenment, the soul of Basaka, it all took away 5 points of her energy. Is the strength value only 1 point? Go and gather your people and restore. Faith enhances strength. Right, that would probably cost a lot of money, decades or even centuries. And she's not without enemies. It inherited the world's techniques. Eve also inherited them. If any enemy of the world's magic exists, the method can find a large number of. That's enough for the soul. If there is a soul, then I can just. Worrying about one's body can lead to cleverness. Spirits were born from the earth. In this way, the population problem will be solved. It's settled. Eve was bored. Earth in the divine space. The internet world is online. And on one side, it's filled with sorrow. Sigh, it suddenly seems like an association. What has happened? Her consciousness trembled, as if staring thoughtfully at the blue star. Network channels, those of humanity. Can consciousness do it? At that moment, she suddenly felt a bold idea came to mind. Blue Star's virtual reality technology. It has developed rapidly and will. Consciousness and network connection have, becoming a new type of online game. The main gameplay. Will I be able to pass? Network channels borrowed from Blue Star. Human consciousness. And then borrow, a body created by world art. Birth. Thus achieving another. A spirit of the species was born. I can completely use the network on Earth. Develop a game online. Let humans as players. They came into this world. And in that case, there's really no need to worry. Death is something you can create yourself. A fearless army of players, used to rebuild the elven civilization. Players can also assist him in collecting elves from all over the world. People, even those who helped him spread the word. Belief, thinking about this, the clothes felt themselves. I'm getting more and more excited. I can still modify the birth body. The law will make war sacrifice this, after slight modifications to the skills. Fusion, the instinct to enter the body. In that case, after the player arrives, each upgrade also, it will benefit itself. They upgrade, and they also gain benefits. Benefits, though small, accumulate and will also gain a considerable amount of divine power. Thinking back to my past life playing online games, the crazy group of people at home. Brother, the clothes made the whole thing seem very. There's hope, as long as I can level up. If they can become stronger, they will do anything. They can do it. This is top quality chives. He's a genius. Thinking of this. The clothes almost, unable to resist taking immediate action. He tried, but soon he held back. Next, let's deal with things here first. Let's solve it first. After making this decision, the servant withdrew from the divine space. Attention returns to nature, the main hall of the temple. The 2 elves were still devout. Cheng knelt down. 2 spirits. Ling is still regretting, abandoning her mother. God repents, listening to the 2 of them chattering. The sound of babbling. The feeling of clothes. I feel somewhat ashamed. But it was all a bluff. Human affairs still need to be done. I'm afraid it might be a little embarrassing. A long, ethereal sigh. The sound echoed through the hall. 2 elite. The believers were somewhat bewildered. He raised his head expectantly. Only begin by looking at the statues on the altar, radiating a sacred light. The originally damaged elf. The statue began to repair itself. A moment later, a holy statue, beautiful elven goddess statue. Then it reappeared on the altar. Above, looking at the reconstructed idol. The clothes were also a slight surprise to me. What will happen after it is materialized? Is it the image that has been formed? It's actually quite pretty. The 3 believers watched excitedly. Tears streamed down my face as I gazed upon the restored idol. Their eyes had long been blurred. The eye, nothing is more important than an idol. The revival further proves the true God. The return of, this time, even the tree guardians. Basaka also knelt respectfully. On earth, praise the Lord, God, praise Mother Nature. Him, the beautiful and great goddess of life. It's really a bit embarrassing. My clothes are a non-existent cold. She trembled and coughed for a moment. After a moment, get up. The 3 of them trembled. Their expressions, a surge of fervor and emotion welled up within them. They faced the constantly flashing. The idol deeply embodies meaning. And follows, he then slowly stood up. For the sake of, to revitalize civilization and faith. I need your strength. How Rand's voice rang out again. Together, the three believers' bodies. He straightened his body at the same time. With a fervent expression, they praised the Mother Goddess. For your advancement, I am willing. I offer my life and my soul. The scene shifts to 3 days later. Afterwards, Samir wore gray and white, wearing a sacrificial robe, with a belt on her body. With their prepared luggage, she was radiant, as if she were a year old, looking hundreds of years younger. Love, Alice looked at her old body. The package on the package caught my eye. He asked with delight, "What are you preparing? Is it ready?" Samir nodded. "Mother, the Lord God needs to unite his people. Who can be contacted now? The surviving members of her clan." He touched Alice's head. "Bag." Samir stretched out his hand. "Hand, a gleaming light lies in my heart. Green leaves imbued with a sacred aura. The God bestowed even more rewards upon her. A divine object given to me. At a certain point, the clan can be sensed within a certain distance, the location of the person, and it can also resist attacks at the gold level. You have more important tasks to complete. You must assist the Mother Goddess well. Humans, guiding the coming, the chosen one, guide the chosen ones." Upon hearing this, Alice, her eyes brightened slightly, gently, nodding slightly, thinking of her mother, God's divine realm. Her heart, the worship and fanaticism in China. The chosen ones radiated forth. What will it be like? Is it an elf too? Or perhaps, a messenger of God? Alice's expression carried a glimmer of longing. And the mission is passed on. After giving it to several believers, Eve then plunged in all at once. He entered his own divine space. She reconnected to the blue. The network world of stars begins to be constructed. Games, for the arrival of players, make preparations. In 3 days, she had already, through various experiments, it was verified that the feasibility of one's own ideas. What's needed now is to make this. She named it Elf. The game kingdom is well developed and became famous online. Number, Eve uses her divine power to interfere. Blue Star's network was successfully stolen. Mo established a group called World Tree Black Technology Co. Limited, the online game company. The company released the promotional video all at once. It was posted online. Next, we just have to wait for the promotional video. Fermentation, welcoming the first batch of players. All right. Meanwhile, Blue Star Network. On the website, a game reviewer. The streamer saw this game. His movements paused. The mouse stopped. In an advertisement that was a rather unremarkable square. The cover features a majestic tree, the world tree, a beautiful saint. The pure blonde elf was heading towards. He closed his eyes and prayed while looking at the world tree. To his surprise, this advertisement, it was only released for 2 days. And yet, however, it has as many as 3 million. Click count. What's with the 3 million clicks? Did you buy it on Taobao? Once curiosity is aroused, it couldn't be suppressed any longer. He clicked on the ad, and the camera centered on the world tree, gradually zooming out, one after another magnificent. The city unfolded before Lai Mu's eyes. Forward, elegant and beautiful elf wares, wandering through the lush green city. In the city, a melodious, the girl spoke slowly, beginning to speak. The world on the continent of sides, the story of trees and elves. That's interesting, and quite realistic. The scenery is amazing, and the character models are great too. It was also very meticulous, and the movements were very fluid, smooth. And what is the background music BGM? It sounds so good, but it feels like I've never heard it before. It sounds like I've heard of it before. Smart Power will bring you an unprecedented gaming experience. Creating the most realistic in history, the most substantial, the most immersive, the most free epic magic and illusion. June 1st, virtual reality, online game Elf Kingdom. The official cloth was removed from the inner side, and everyone was happy. Welcome to register. Elf Kingdom awaits your rescue. Save. This concludes the promotional video. Lai Mu was stunned. It seems that we haven't recovered from the shock of the battle scene. I came to my senses. A moment later, he pinched his big legs. How much did this cost? Make up stories and create special effects. If we were to give this promotional video a rating, if we're talking about points, out of 100, Lai Mu, I would definitely give it a score of 99. Lai Mu, however, was unlike other netizens. Like a friend, after watching the promotional video, I reached climax right away and turned it off. Promotional video. Lai Mu typed it casually. Open a search engine and search. As expected, it was discovered. The Kingdom of Elves is already available. This has caused a stir on major social media platforms. It sparked extensive discussion. The scene mentions the Kingdom of Elves, the official website of Degree. The official website is very rough, like something an outsider would do. It's hand-drawn. This made Lai Mu seriously suspicious of this. The box was used to create a special effects promotional video. Are they the same company? He filled it out with practiced ease. After completing my information, I clicked the button upon seeing the number of people registering. Lai Mu, her mouth opened slightly wider. Goodness, 500,000 people have registered. That's too exaggerated. Coming on your own is too much. It's too late. There are only 300 beta test slots available. For a moment, he felt like smashing the keyboard. Impulsive, just hoping for good fortune. He was able to be favored. Nearly a month has passed, and at this time, the number of people in the world now is different from before. Some changes have occurred, although the vast majority of the people rely on. It was in a withered state, but some at the bottom and top have already. There was a hint of green in the air. That is, these past few days, Pixel Guard, Wesaka was defeated again, a hunting team of Half-Life people. Only then could his divine power be maintained. Above 10 o'clock, the continued appearance of Half-Life people. This also served as a wake-up call for Eve. Clocks, behind them are countless world figures. One of their arch-enemies, Winter, with Uller, the god of the hunt. Unfortunately, Eve's current film, the range of the sound is only 10 kilometers. And the force, the quantity, is also limited. And Barsaka again, it is a lone force, unable to overcome the opponent. They were eradicated in one fell swoop. Perhaps, after the first batch of players drop, spiritual illness advances to a certain level. Then, you can hand it over to them. Eve was thinking of making the players level up to 11. Black Iron is a lower rank, but considering if the reward is too high, the player will be careless. He was prone to making a fool of himself, but he still decided to. The reality of birth and resurrection. The force is fixed at level 1. Eve cast her consciousness again. Enter the divine space. There were 300 shimmering, shadowy lights. The light radiated life. An egg-shaped cluster of light hangs in the air. Wearing, this was the first batch he manufactured. The body is mature. The resurrection mechanism has already been set up. The decision has been made. Next up are targeted players. Then get ready to welcome the little cutie. Their spiritual energy. Eve was very satisfied, and again, it connected to the Blue Star Network world. Start selecting leaks with potential. Vegetables inside the university town. Lai Mu had just returned. Once I got to the dorm, I turned on my phone and, you have received an email. Congratulations, you have been selected as a top talent. The first closed beta test of the Spirit Kingdom. Players, invitation code, 9527. Lai Mu, he paused, seemingly not having replied yet. He was stunned, then jumped up excitedly. My luck has come up. Always good. Now the game chat group has exploded. The pot was filled, and the number of people who signed up for the game it has already reached 1 million. On one hand, while spying in the group. On the other hand, Lai Mu, who was eating a fried dough stick on the side. He slightly curled the corners of his mouth and took. I'm qualified. At 12 noon on June 1st, I started the Elf Kingdom on time. Welcome to my live stream. The group chat immediately erupted in chaos. Time flies, in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, the closed beta test of the Elf Kingdom, the time finally arrived, and Lai Mu had already left. After downloading the game, the first thing that appears it's the character creation interface, which will, hair and eye color, set to black, hairstyle, as the hair grows. The body is the material was adjusted to be a bit more delicate. Similar, your appearance is a bit androgynous. Muda, tail girl fan, you're cosplaying a child spirit. 1. The barrage of comments is going crazy. Lai, the herdsman's name is set to Lai. Shepherd, then directly entered the game. My consciousness suddenly jolted. A kind of, an indescribable feeling of weightlessness. A flood of emotions welled up in Lai Mu's heart. And his brain, in an instant, turned into blankness. When consciousness returns, when Lai Mu regained consciousness for the second time, I found myself in a vast expanse, a magnificent world. And the game's promotion, the promotional video is exactly the same. 2 cents. After a few minutes, the animation finally ended, accompanied by sacred songs. The world before Lai Mu's eyes once again changes. He touched his own, the body, that real touch. The feeling made him feel as if he were wearing. It exceeded the norm. If one didn't know this he even doubted himself in the game. I've traveled through time, but this seems to be, it can be adjusted. Minimum energy. He could adjust the pain level to 0%. My character card dropped out again. A faint, ethereal sound. The sound drew his attention. Welcome, chosen one of another world. A figure appeared before Lai Mu, a person radiating from head to toe. A holy woman with soft light. God, he stared, his eyes wide open. For a moment, I even forgot about straight. Broadcasting questions. The power of gentleness. The sunlight shone on his body. And Lai Mu felt, I feel warm all over, and the goddess is solemn and holy. The sound rang out again. I am in control of nature, life, and elf world magic. Ancient gods, clothing, clothes, Yggdrasil, courage, daring chosen ones. Welcome in the world of swords and magic. Lai Mu unconsciously swallowed. Saliva, all that's left in my heart. A thought struck me. Holy crap. This model, the special effects are truly amazing. And this, at this moment, in the live broadcast room, it was already flooded with bullet comments. No, wrong. This goddess is actually the clothes, only after possessing an incarnation, some personified characters. In order to guide players and give them a beating, leave your own mark on the clothes. Earth used divine power to create, dominated by one's own human form. The process of guiding the appearance. Each, a player who enters the game, they will all pass through the blessing of this goddess, the process of happiness, the courage of heaven, in order to better suit the selection process. To this world, I will give you one's own power. Goddess, the ethereal and beautiful voice. The sound rang out again, and she addressed Lai Mu with a gentle touch. Lai Mu's face. Before that, in the system window. Lai Mu touched. He stroked his chin, lost in thought. The live stream chat was also flooded with comments. When arguments break out, power, oh, it must be strength, and the agility of an elf. High stats can be upgraded to assassin later on, or maybe a marksman, or a mage. Either way, virtual reality is here. I won't experience it. The feeling of magic. Difficult. Do we still need to chop the path with a big knife? Look, with the increasingly skewed comments, Lai Mu's lips twitched. After thinking for a moment, I clicked on French system. In an instant, Lai Mu I felt a gentle warmth. Power surged into his body. Inside, Lai Mu couldn't help but. I checked my system. Status. Related to magic. Lai Mu's attributes were enhanced. A surge of joy welled up within me. The chosen one. You have already received my blessing. Please, pack your gear and set off. Let's journey together. The voice of the goddess. It rang out again. And Lai Mu's, a light emanated from its body, a crude set of the rope, and now he has an extra one in his hand, a wooden staff, which appeared at the waist. A wooden dagger appeared, and accompanied by the goddess's blessing. Fortune, the scene before Lai Mu's eyes. Another change, a refreshing air. The air rushed towards me, and my ears were filled with its fragrance. It was the distant chirping of birds. Lai Mu, slowly opening his eyes. He discovered, I've arrived in a different place. The world, giant branches. Wow, it really is 100% picture quality. The group of players is a genius. Why the design? Each one is more unconventional than the last. Mu, hey bro, let's be friends. I'm Dud, Marcia, I'm in the game too. In the live stream, the chat was getting increasingly many. A flash in my vision. The barrage of comments made Lai Mu's face. His face darkened, and he hurriedly raised his head. While rubbing my chest, I untied. Explanation. No, I freaking have a slight fear of heights. In an instant, the live stream, silence fell over the room. Muda had just, what did he say? He spoke too fast. I didn't hear you clearly. I didn't hear you clearly at all. And press the fast forward button.